Episode 1 begins when a woman plunges deep into the water. Nothing is known about her except that she has elaborate markings on her back. Her head hits the floor with a thud and then there's a voiceover, "I don't know where my hometown is, because I don't remember the past and I'm even more uncertain." Yuan Song shakes his head that they could have caused an accident with the stunt they pulled, and Yuan Huai agrees, suggesting that they take the party elsewhere in order to play a game that is intense and exciting, complete with anguished screaming. It soon becomes apparent just what sinister concoction he has in mind when the servant girls are herded into the open area. Yuan at least wait for Yuan Yu to arrive. Yuan Huai smirks that Yuan Yu may be too busy having the time of his life. As they speak, Yuan Yu enters his chambers to find a woman offering herself up to him. His face betrays no emotion as he falls into her embrace, but she brandishes a weapon as she was leaning in for a kiss. Yuan Yu blocks her attack and she busts out the Wolverine needles for a fight that she instantly loses. When asked what it was that gave her away, Yuan Yu admits that everything about her was wrong from the beginning, but he has encountered assassins and poison numerous times before and not seduction. That's a first for him, and now that he has experienced it, it is nothing interesting after all. Meanwhile, the games begin and it is a slaughterhouse. Yen Sun and Yuan Song take it upon themselves to save as many as they can, rescuing Xiao Lu and her friend in the process. Yen Sun seems to have taken a particular interest in Xiao Lu and he saves her again and again. Xiao Lu also catches the eye of Yuan Huai, who is amused to find prey that can put up a fight. He aims an arrow straight for her, but Yen Sun shoots it down and declares that no one should dare touch her. Realizing the attempt on her life, Xiao Lu glares in the direction of the podium. Wolves surround her and start tearing into her flesh, but she grabs an arrow to take down her first wolf, then the second, then the third. Yen Sun readies his next shot, but he finds that Xiao Lu no longer needs saving because she is more than capable of defending herself and her friend. Yuan Yu observes everything from afar and remarks that she is a natural warrior. Given that the time is up, Yuan Song declares that there shall be no more killing. However, Yuan Huai sneaks one more shot in and it goes straight through Xiao Lu's friend. It's the first emotional death to really hit home, but Xiao Lu barely has any time to grieve since she is the next target. After all, Yuan Huai wasn't going to allow a servant girl marked as one of Yuan Yu's to become the sole survivor. Yen Sun attempts to stop Yuan Huai to no avail, and to everyone's surprise, Yuan Yu intervenes, effectively saving Xiao Lu. With everyone else gone, Xiao Lu is brought to her knees before Yen Sun. She is defiant as she looks him squarely in the eye to say that she will only tell him her name when the day comes that she no longer has to look up to him. Yen Sun smiles and leaves her be, though he makes it a point to warn the steward from playing any dirty tricks. The warning goes unheeded because the steward answers to Yuan Huai, and he is hellbent on making Xiao Lu pay for displeasing his boss. Nevertheless, we get a brief reprieve as Xiao Lu is thrown into a closet, finally alone. A male servant who turns out to be her fifth brother secretly brings her food, and he tells her that their sisters are also in the Yuan manor. Yen Sun and Yuan Yu also reminisce the events of the day. Yuan Yu asks his friend whether he is done pretending to be an aimless wanderer since he brought his A-game to the hunt. Yen Sun reasons that even a person like him should have such basic skills. Besides, Yuan Yu also acted very unlike himself, and he hints that Yuan Yu must be attracted to the girl. First impressions: with the number of historical C-dramas being churned out, change is good if not necessary, and I love that the show dares to be different, bringing a convoluted world that adheres to a twisted set of rules. Out of all the nobles, there are those who are clearly deranged, those that don't speak and those that speak up because they have a conscience. It doesn't make much of a difference because they all contribute to a society that feeds on the weak. The wicked are at their worst, and I actually appreciated Ian Wang Yenlin as the villain, though it probably has more to do with spillover love for Monster Killer. He is almost cartoonish here given how rotten to the core his character is. But it seems fitting for a show that is not big on subtlety. Lin Gingxin plays the cold and uncaring male protagonist. There's usually a warmth buried deep down inside such a man that we don't see just yet, especially because his small acts of kindness thus far have been motivated by self-interest and nothing else. I still find a certain appeal to his cool persona, but I'm worried that he'll cross the line and do something unforgivable. Zhao Liying definitely had to do a lot of heavy lifting, since she not only had the most scenes but she also had to get into the thick of the action. As far as her transformation goes, I'd say she was successful because I easily empathized with her as the heroine. And I can already see myself desperately wanting for her to rise up and beat everyone to a pulp. Her young counterpart is equally badass from the little that we see, which is why I don't mind that they drop time travel, not when Chu Qiao's backstory has the potential to be epic on its own. In spite of the flaws, Princess Agents brings a shock value that is worth checking out. It reminds me of General and I, which had a similar feel, except for the fact that that went haywire pretty quickly for me. Princess Agents seems set up to tell a crazy story packed with an insanely sadistic streak, but I'm just hoping that it'll end up being the good kind of crazy. Let me know what you guys think. I've been anticipating this show for too long and practically willing it to be good that I might not be thinking straight, so please do share. While everyone was playing arrow throwing game, Princess Chun-Er arrived at the party. Her attachment to Yen Sun is obvious to everyone when she called her brother a pig and Yen Sun the only handsome guy in the room. In Yuan Yu's room, he received information regarding his investigation of the assassin in a cool device. With his grandfather, they revealed that the assassin was sent by Yuan Huai to kill him. During the Yen Sun's birthday party, everyone arrived and was having fun. Xiao Lu was sent to be a stepping stool for the princess to aid her off the horse carriage. She overheard Yuan Huai's plan to poison Yuan Yu's alcohol. Ji Xiang went to serve the alcohol to Yuan Yu, but he noticed that something was off and stopped drinking. Yuan Huai pushed for him to drink and said if he doesn't, they will kill off the beauty. Not wanting her big sister to suffer, Xiao Lu knocked the wine glass off. Yuan Huai wanted to kill her, but Yen Sun stopped him and gave her a chance to survive in a flip the pendant game. If she guessed right, she will be pardoned, if not she will be killed. He helped her by doing something to the jade pendant. Even though she guessed right, she couldn't escape punishment. They hung her upside down through the night. Yuan Yu let her down afterward and told her that she was dumb to be courageous without an escape plan. But since Xiao Lu ruined Yuan Huai's plan, her family tried to help her escape. Fifth brother asked an upper maid, Jin Zhu, to help him get a pass that will allow people to leave the estate. She did so and asked fifth brother to give Yuan Yu's grandfather a chess set in return. Fifth brother agreed without knowing that the chess set was poisoned by Yuan Huai and that he was just a scapegoat in the whole plot. Xiao Lu escaped at night but overheard the plot and rushed back to rescue fifth brother. When she arrived, the place was on fire and Yuan Yu had stabbed fifth brother through the heart. Xiao Lu witnessed the death of fifth brother as Yuan Yu stabbed him and threw him in the pit of fire. She ran toward the fire but was stopped by the guards. Xiao Lu cried and told him that her brother is innocent. His reply was, "So what if I killed the innocents? The strong survive in this world and the weaks are meant to be stepped on." She promised him that if she lives she will become strong. On the ground, Yuan Yu saw the poisoned spider crawling on Xiao Lu's arm and slashed at it. He told her that that was punishment for trying to run away. Yuan Huai wanted to confirm the death by pretending to pay his respect to the old man at the funeral. He was stopped by Yuan Yu. Yuan Yu and Yuan Huai picked up their sword and went at each other again. Yuan Huai's weapon shot out a hidden arrow and headed straight toward the incoming Wei consort. The both stopped fighting and welcomed the consort. The consort praised Yuan Yu for sealing off the body to keep the suspect from tampering with evidence and agreed to examine the body for verification. After the examination, she concluded that the grandfather died of poison and forbid Yuan Huai from entering Qing Shan Yuan, Yuan Yu's manor. Yuan Yu thanked the consort Wei for helping him. She advised him gain the king's trust and revive Daiji Tianyan so that he can marry Chun-Er and gain more power, since Daiji Tianyan is a precious treasure that the king will not let just anyone take ownership over. The next day, guards were carrying a bloody body across the garden and Xiao Lu overheard that the body belonged to Jin Yan, who was sent to Ji Lugu to serve Yuan Yu's grandfather. Song picked the next batch of slaves to be sent to Ji Lugu and Xiao Lu was chosen. Ji Xiang begged her to let Xiao Lu go and promised to do anything in return. Xiao Qi finally returned to the Yuan manor. Ji Xiang's sister told them that she will be gone for a few days and asked Xiao Lu to take care of Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba in her place. She didn't tell them where she was going. Ji Xiang gave Xiao Ba a pendant that belonged to Xiao Lu for keepsake. Ji Xiang and other girls were sent to Ji Lugu where they were surrounded by makeup and pretty clothings. The girls excitedly tried out everything while Ji Xiang stood tense. Slowly from the water, Yuan Shi crawled out and walked toward Ji Xiang. She stood still while everyone ran away. He took a sniff and left her to chase after the other girls. Until the last one died, Yuan Shi went back to Ji Xiang and strangled her. Xiao Lu was waken up by Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba crying. When she asked them what was wrong, they told her that Ji Xiang was sent to Ji Lugu. The three rushed out to find Ji Xiang's body being wheeled to a body disposable spot. Xiao Lu and them waited for the guards to leave before approaching the body. While kneeling, she promised Ji Xiang that she will take care of the little ones. She took her slingshot from Ji Xiang's hand and cried in the rain. Because of her big mouth, Song was asked to pack her bag to leave. On her way out, she saw Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba doing something sneakily. She followed them and saw that they were burying Ji Xiang and Lin Shi, which is against the rule at Yuan Manor. She wanted to report it to Yuan Huai. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba ran after her to stop her. The three started fighting at the bridge and by accident Song got knocked over and fell into the water. While Yuan Yu was studying, his parrot announced the arrival of Bad Egg Yen Sun. Yen Sun warned him about Yuan Shi's visit and sending him a lady to warm his bed. Before he left, Yen Sun pocketed Yuan Yu's expensive medicine. Yen Sun wandered toward the court where the slaves work and live and got involved when some guards were trying to take Xiao Lu away for interrogation regarding Song's death. He accused the guard of stealing his horse and used the same words that the guard said to Xiao Lu. "I'm evidence. Everything I said is true." The guard begged Xiao Lu for forgiveness and she told him to roll away. After the guard left, Yan Xian told Xiao Lu that he wanted something to drink. She told him to go elsewhere. She told him of her brother and sister's death and do not at the mood to entertain him. He noticed the seriousness, put down the medicine and left. Yuan Shi came to Qing Shan Yuan as warned. He wanted to refute Yuan Yu's right to the manor. 16 years ago, Yuan Yu was born to the second household but because his mom went crazy, the first household took him in. However, his status was not sealed since his father's signature was missing. Right at that moment, the king's notice came and announced Yuan Yu as the heir of Qing Shan Yuan. With that plan down the drain, Yuan Shi wanted Yuan Yu to accept a designated slave as his woman. Yuan Yu told him that to be fair, he will hold a competition to pick the woman that will serve him. The competition will be opened up to the bronze and silver class slaves in the Yuan estate. Xiao Lu wanted to use this opportunity to protect Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba from Yuan Huai and avenge Lin Shi. She went to sign up for the opportunity but because she is of the metal class, she had no rights. She kneeled in front of his door for hours before he came out. He explained that the slave chosen will be serving the master in bed. If that is the only way to survive, then she is willing to. Before he left, Yuan Yu permit her to participate in the competition. There were 3 rounds on the day of the exam, those that lost twice will be eliminated. The first round was some sort of chess game. Xiao Lu does not know the rules and was forced to forfeit. In the second round, Xiao Lu used fresh water and a mint leaf to brew tea and that caught Yuan Yu's attention. She passed the second round, even though knowledge of tea brewing was 0 to none. For the third round, the remaining slaves were told to memorize the Buddha's scripture and write it out in the allotted time. Through watching, Xiao Lu learned how to write and wrote out the symbols based on memory. Before she was announced winner, Yuan told her to sign her name. But because she doesn't know how to write, she used her bell to do so. As the winner of the competition, she was brought to Yuan's chamber. He told her that he will use her if she passes all his tests. He asked her to come over and help him shave. With all those sharp nails in front of her, Xiaolu remembered how he killed her brother and wanted to aim for his throat. As if Xiaolu doesn't have enough hatred for the nobility after the hunt, this episode sees her falling farther into a quagmire of hatred as these men threaten the family she's refound. On the upside, this episode sees a tiny interaction between Yuan and Xiaolu. Oh, and did you know the actor who plays Yu Qi is the male lead in the drama The Eternal Love? Ji Xiang and Xiao Ba are taking care of the ill Xiaolu while she dreams of the incident that happened before she was taken to the hunting grounds. A man is in pursuit of her carriage which is wrecked. With her skills, she and he could easily rule the world. If Chu Qiao should turn him down, he will be forced to kill her. The man is Yuan Hao. I don't know which branch of the Yuan family he is from. He greatly underestimates his own prowess and Chu Qiao kills him before falling from the cliff. She falls into the cold water and wakes up shivering, greeted by her two sisters. They wrap Xiaolu's hands around a medicinal burner when Song comes in. She says the two girls stole the burner from Steward Zhu. Xiao Ba is quick to refute this, earning Song's wrath. She takes out her whip to beat Xiao Ba and Ji Xiang quickly steps between the two to protect her seventh sister. Xiaolu has had enough. She takes the bracelet off her wrist and it transforms into a slingshot. She uses it to shoot a pebble at Song's leg. The woman quickly leaves after that and Xiaolu sinks back to the ground. Ji Xiang warns Xiaolu not to do a thing like that again. A lot of people in the Yuan household know Gongfu and thus Xiaolu cannot trick them all. The two sisters beg their sixth sister to not be a rebel anymore. The lives of slaves are cheap and they are easily killed over the smallest matters. The worthless nobles have gathered to play pitch pot, they use their hands to throw arrows into urns. Yuan Song misses, earning him laughter, and he says there is no need to laugh as it would be something new if he actually made it. He goes to mention it would be more amazing if Yuan Huai misses when the other man nonchalantly throws the arrow from the far back table and makes it. Yuan Huai then insinuates he is nothing compared to the skills of the Prince of Yanbei. Yen Sun is not stupid. He laughs and picks up an arrow and twirling it in his hand. Like Yuan Huai, he pitches the arrow from the back table only to narrowly miss. While Yen Sun may have fooled the others, Yuan Huai knows it is but a pretense and mutters under his breath. Enter Chun'er. The princess successfully tosses the arrow into the pot herself. She berates both Yuan Huai and her brother. One thing you see often in this series is how she and Yuan Song bicker. She always treats Yen Sun better than her blood brother and puts Yen Sun first. Later in the series when Yuan Song does the same thing for Xiaolu/Chu Qiao, she doesn't like it at all. Double standards. Of course, a lot happens between the two women and two men, so there are reasons. Chun'er has brought the wine, which is the only urn brewed personally by Yen Sun's father. She will save it for Yen Sun's birthday party, which she will host. Yen Sun is quick to say that Yuan will be hosting his party this year. This vexes Chun'er. What fun party can that Iceman create? Yen Sun doesn't know, that is what makes it interesting. I won't go into too much detail. Chun'er is straightforward and very harsh towards her brother and his friends. She particularly loves to belittle Yuan Huai for his low birth. The servants are busy preparing Yuan's manner for the party when Madame Song bursts in and instructs that it is time Xiaolu starts working. Ji Xiang pleads for more recovery time for her little sister, but is denied. Xiaolu is then sent outside to work. Enter Steward Zhu. As he is acting a bit lecherously toward her eldest sister, Xiaolu steps inside and asks for Ji Xiang's help. Later, Xiaolu is working on a weapon to take care of the man in case he touches Ji Xiang again. Her eldest sister forbids such actions. They are together now, and one wrong move from Xiao Lu can upset the scales even more. Ji Xiang reveals that Lin Shi is doing his best to ensure their comfort and safety. Time for our icy young master to make an appearance. Yuan Yu is in his room when a secret message comes in. He takes it and brings it to his grandfather. It is news of Yuan Huai's doings. Looks like this cousin will not stop until the third branch of the Yuan family is dead. Yuan Huai's family has more of the emperor's trust right now since Yuan Yu has an illness and his grandfather is paralyzed. Even though the third branch controls the eyes of God, it is worthless without the emperor's trust. It is Yuan Yu's duty to revive this and restore the family's honor. Yan Sun's party is underway and Xiao Lu is tasked with acting as Princess Chun's private stepping stool. Oh, the ways they come up with to demean their slaves. Everything is going well until Xiao Lu overhears Yuan Huai talking about poisoning someone. Who will he poison? Ji Xiang comes in to serve wine as the host of the party makes his late entrance. At this time, Zhu stops Ji Xiang and tells her to serve Yuan Yu well since he seldom does social functions. Watching, Xiao Lu sees steward Zhu slip poison into the wine her elder sister carries. Not good. Yuan Yu is instructed to drink as punishment for his late arrival. He lifts the cup Ji Xiang pours, but knows there is something amiss. He refuses since he is ill. Yuan Huai proposes a game. If Yuan Yu does not drink, they will kill the beauty that serves him wine. Xiao Lu has had enough. How dare these prettily dressed nobles make a game of her sister's life? Xiao Lu uses her slingshot to spill the wine. Yuan Yu mentally scolds her for the unnecessary action. Xiao Lu then asks them to not make a game of her sister's life. Yan Sun worries over this wild kitten. Yuan Huai says according to Yuan rules, Xiao Lu's life is forfeit. Yan Sun interrupts. It is his birthday. Let there not be bloodshed. Time for a new game. His jade has a front and back. He will toss the jade in the air and Xiao Lu must guess which side lands face up. He rubs his fingers on the jade and Xiao Lu uses that as a signal to tell which is which. The jade is tossed and she shocks everyone by guessing correctly. Yuan Huai is miffed. Fine. She won't die, but she will be punished. Her punishment? Being hung upside down from a tree. Lin Shi pleads for his sister and Yuan Yu and Yu Qi release her. Yuan Yu scolds her for rushing into things without leaving a way out for herself. He walks away and is greeted by an angry Zhu. Of course, Steward Zhu cannot do anything since Yuan Yu was the one to free the slave. Yue tells Zhu to relay to Yuan Huai that if he has a problem then come seek him out. Lin Shi then piggybacks his sister out of there. Madame Song comes into the woodshed. Yuan Huai wants this interfering girl dead. They will send her to Ji Lu Pavilion. When Song leaves, Ji Xiang panics. They can't let sixth sister go there to die. What can they do? Lin Shi promises to come up with something to spare Xiao Lu. A maid from the Yuan Yu household meets with Steward Zhu. She is a spy planted by Yuan Huai. She tells them that Yue has received word on Yuan Huai's dealings. Zhu hands over a box of number sticks. Since they are having problems killing Yuan Yu, they will focus on his grandfather. He hands the maid a special pair of gloves made from human skin and warns her that the box is poisonous. He then says to use the Jing family as they are worried about their sixth sister. Jin Zhu seeks out Lin Shi and asks after his problems. He doesn't want to tell her and bring her into the matter. However, Jin Zhu persists and then says she may have a way to help him and his sisters. Lin Shi visits Xiao Lu. She dreams of Chu Qiao again. She asks her brother of her origins. He only knows that she was brought to their house by their father who said she was the child of a mistress. Lin Shi tells her that her dreams are meaningless. She does tell him of the poisoning plot. He wonders how she knows about such things. But Xiao Lu doesn't know. To help him win favor, Jin Zhu gives him the poison box. Old Master loves playing with number sticks. This is a special set. If this goes well, Lin Shi will save his sister and Jin Zhu will become Yuan Yu's lover. She even hands over the special pass that allows a servant outside so Xiao Lu can escape. Of course Xiao Lu doesn't want to leave, but is coaxed by her sisters. Xiao Lu understands that her presence can cause harm to her family. She hands over her slingshot to Ji Jiang for protection. On her way out, Xiao Lu learns her brother was set up and rushes back to the manor, but it is too late. Lin Shi was called in and when the old man opened the box, a deadly spider bit him. Yuan Yu gets there and even Lin Shi has been bitten. Yuan Yu kills Lin Shi before Xiao Lu's eyes. Yep. The girl has good reason to hate him and Yuan Huai. Blame it on the time we live in where human lives are regarded as trash. This is the philosophy of the eldest sister of the Jing family. If you have not status, your life if cheap, expendable, and the most you can do is endure and survive. Needless to say this goes against everything Xiao Lu stands for. Even if she cannot remember her past en toto, she is a woman of action who refuses to be bullied. Xiao Ba is also more of this Spitfire mindset and the two are constantly told to lie low to ensure the safety of themselves and their family. Knowing her brother is in trouble, Xiao Lu arrives on scene in time to witness Yuan Yu killing him and throwing him into the fire. When she goes to rush to the fire, Yuan Yu surreptitiously kicks a stone at her leg, causing her fall. She loses the pass here which Yuqi finds. Yuan Yu denounces Lin Shi as a spy and that his death can in no way make up for his complicity in killing Yuan Yu's beloved grandfather. Xiao Lu insists on her brother's innocence. He was a good man who was not at the manor long enough to be embroiled in any plots against the members of second household. She does confess that her brother did get the pass for her. There is a severe punishment for this, but she escapes with a sword slash to her arm. Why? A poisonous spider had crawled its way onto her arm unnoticed except by Yuan Yu and he strikes before it can poison her. 2. This marks the second time he saved her life. He also gives her a lesson: she has no power in an age where people look up to and revere those with power. She is just a poor person meant to be trod on by the powerful. Xiao Lu vows that if she lives on, she will become a person with power and Yuan Yu warns her against her bold words as they will only bring her shame. Xiao Lu manages to go back to her eldest sister and let her know of their fifth brother's death. Ji Xiang takes her younger sister in and once more tends to her wounds. Xiao Ba is livid. Another sibling lost. She puts all the blame on Xiao Lu. A black cat, an unlucky star. Ever since she entered their lives, bad things have happened. They lost their parents and now their siblings. Ji Xiang is livid. Xiao Lu is a precious sister of theirs and it is not her fault their lives are trash. They are born low and have no power. They can only endure and pray not to attract attention and lose their lives. The thing I don't like, especially since Xiao Lu does her best to protect her sisters, is that Xiao Ba and Xiao Qi often think of throwing Xiao Lu away, but yet they cannot survive without her. Steward Zhu reports to Yuan Huai that the old man has died and their real spy, Jin Zhu, remains undetected in Yuan Yu's manor. Huai asks if Zhu saw the body with his own eyes. Steward Zhu hems and haws, but admits he did not. This makes Yuan Huai livid. He will need to see for himself that the old man has really perished as they planned. So, Yuan Huai marches to Yuan Yu's household and arrives as they are about to seal the coffin. Huai demands to see his uncle's body, to which Yuan Yu refuses. Huai should know better than anyone just who his grandfather liked and disliked. Yuan Huai insinuates that the ungrateful Yuan Yu killed his grandfather to gain the eyes of God's spy network. The two then start a huge fight as Yuan Huai tries to force his way in to open the coffin to investigate the real cause of his uncle's death. Enter the noble consort Shu, who is displeased at this fighting as she was a good friend of Yuan Yu's grandfather. Huai whines that his cousin is suspicious in not letting Huai see the old man's corpse. Yuan Yu explains to the consort that he has burned all of his grandfather's personal effects and was going to seal the coffin to prevent the leak of the rare Western poison that killed his grandfather. Consort Shu tells you that this is indeed right and that she will examine the body herself. She goes to the coffin and Yuan Yu carefully opens it while she masks her face. She confirms his grandfather's death. We must not forget that she insinuates Yuan Huai in Yuan Yu's grandfather's death, as it is known that Huai's family regularly does trade with the West on the Silk Road. This is fact. To make matters worse for the annoying Huai, Shu forbids him from entering Yuan Yu's manor unless expressly invited by Yuan Yu. Later, when Shu and Yu are alone, he thanks her again for her help. She is worried about Yuan Yu. He has a decision to make. Should he take on the mantle of his household and reactivate the eyes of God? If not, he should know that the emperor does have others who could take charge of this. Yuan Yu keeps his cold expression. His whole thing is flying under the radar. For whatever reason, he must always downplay his power and intelligence. Of course, he is living in a political and personal minefield, isn't he? This is also why Yen Sun does his best to keep a low profile and not attract negative attention from the emperor. Yuan Huai reports to his own grandfather of their success in killing Yuan Yu's grandfather. Now that Yuan Yu is on his own without his grandfather's backing, it should be easier to kill him and retain the eyes of God, but there is the snag of being kicked out of Yuan Yu's manor. Of course, Jin Zhu is still there. Huai's grandfather laughs as he recalls how Jin Zhu turned down Huai's advances as she was saving her virginity for Yuan Yu. A nice verbal slap in the fact to Huai. So, Ji Xiang is another sacrificial lamb to the lust and power of the Yuan family. Yuan Huai's grandfather is a man who is crazy and takes pleasure in killing maids. Ji Xiang almost managed to escape with her life, but she is killed by Huai's grandfather in the end. Xiao Lu wakes to her younger sisters crying and learns that Ji Xiang was taken to Jinlu Pavilion, and the three go out in the rain to find her. There they see guards and a cartload of dead maids. Her sisters see her dead body and are hit with grief once more. They go to the pile of corpses and collect their sisters. They bury her and create a mound as well as a funeral plaque for Lin Shi and Ji Xiang. Xiao Lu has made up her mind as she pays her last respects to her fifth brother and eldest sister. She will not do as Ji Xiang insisted and lay low in hopes of things going their way. No, Xiao Lu will fight for herself and the remainder of her family. At this time, Huai is upset with Steward Zhu over the leaking of their family's trading information, which throws suspicion on them for Yuan Zhu's death. Zhu throws Madame Song under the proverbial bus and Zhu relishes in kicking her out of the Yuan household. You get to see in this rain scene that Yuan Huai is tormented by his own existence. He despises his lecherous grandfather, his low birth, and his inability to be included with his other friends in the top 5 of the young nobles. Do I feel sorry for him? The actor playing Yuan Huai, Wang Yanlin, does a great job. And you know Huai is as sick and twisted as he is because of how he was treated and raised, but you just can't feel sorry for the cruel arse that he has become. In order to win merits, she follows one of the Jing siblings as they get paper money to burn for their recently deceased siblings. It is forbidden to do this, and Song stupidly believes if she turns the Jing siblings into Huai, she will be spared. Xiao Ba talks back, as does Xiao Lu, and a fight ensues. So, Ji Xiang is another sacrificial lamb to the lust and power of the Yuan family. Yuan Huai's grandfather is a man who is crazy and takes pleasure in killing maids. Ji Xiang almost managed to escape with her life, but she is killed by Huai's grandfather in the end. Xiao Lu wakes to her younger sisters crying and learns that Ji Xiang was taken to Jinlu Pavilion, and the three go out in the rain to find her. There they see guards and a cartload of dead maids. Her sisters see her dead body and are hit with grief once more. They go to the pile of corpses and collect their sisters. They bury her and create a mound as well as a funeral plaque for Lin Shi and Ji Xiang. Xiao Lu has made up her mind as she pays her last respects to her fifth brother and eldest sister. She will not do as Ji Xiang insisted and lay low in hopes of things going their way. No, Xiao Lu will fight for herself and the remainder of her family. At this time, Huai is upset with Steward Zhu over the leaking of their family's trading information, which throws suspicion on them for Yuan Zhu's death. Zhu throws Madame Song under the proverbial bus, and Zhu relishes in kicking her out of the Yuan household. You get to see in this rain scene that Yuan Huai is tormented by his own existence. He despises his lecherous grandfather, his low birth, and his inability to be included with his other friends in the top 5